Learn how to use combined CSS syntax to target specific tag and class combination using both jQuery and native JavaScript. So in this lesson, we want to look at how you can combine elements with CSS selectors. Sometimes a simple tag name or class name selector isn't specific enough. For example, say you might have multiple elements on a page with a class name of the same thing, but you want to change the paragraph that use that class, leaving any headers or div alone. By fusing the tag name and the class name together to single CSS rule, you can target exactly what you need with pinpoint accuracy. So let's look at how you can do that with jQuery. So in jQuery, as usual, you use the $sign to select the document, red, and then the function where you can set a variable my elements, and then you can use the $sign again to select the ID. The class of the elements. But before we do that, so this is what I'm trying to talk about. Now, in our P section here, let's say we have another P with an class of intro. And inside it, we have hello world. We have another one with same info and do hello Sweden. And lastly, we have another one, same class that has hello Norway. Now, if you look at these three paragraphs, they all have the same class, right? If you want to target only the paragraph that has this intro, assuming that you have other thing on your page, for example, let's say we have maybe say something like H4 with a class of intro. Hello. Now, and you only want to target P and not your H. How do you do it in jQuery? Well, it's simple. You call the tag name and then the class. You can see the P is the tag name and then our class. And once that is done, you can just move on. Where do you want to manipulate? Well, the ID of demo. Then you call that .text. And then you pass your text in the first paragraph with class intro is space plus my element index position of 0 dot inner HTML. And then you can see the first paragraph is class intro is hello world. So you can see that in this example, instead of selecting, every instances of element that has a class of intro, only P is selected and not the H4. So we are not needing the H4. I just use it as a demonstration example. So this is how you can use jQuery to combine elements with CSS selector. So this is the element, the P, and this is the CSS selector intro, which is our class name. So now let's look at how you can do this in native JavaScript. So in native JavaScript, you make same variable my element equals to document dot jQuery selector all. I want to use query. And inside this, then I'll pass my elements as well as my CSS selector. And once I do this, then I can go ahead and do document dot get element by ID, then dot text content equals to the first paragraph with class equals into its space plus my elements. One at index position of 0.inner HTML in order to write it to the string. And you see the first paragraph with class equals intro is hello world. That is, this is the first paragraph that has hello world as its content. And we are now writing it into the empty P tag above it. So this is how you can use element with CSS selectors together inside both jQuery and vanilla JavaScript. And you can see that the JavaScript type, now JavaScript format is a little bit simpler and more cleaner than the jQuery, and it is one of the reasons why it is preferred. Here are a few key takeaways from this lesson. Writing p.intro target paragraph with that class. Be careful. If you mistakenly add a space like this, it totally means something different. So it searches for elements with class intro located inside of the paragraph tag. Number 2, the query selector all native JavaScript document or query selector all accept any valid CSS selector that you throw at it, perfectly replacing almost all of jQuery classic selector functionality. So this makes it so, vibrant and useful other than the jQuery format. Number 3, leveraging native selector to let you create blazingly fast modern web application without dragging along old legacy library dependency. So don't forget that before we were able to make use of jQuery, we need this external dependency that we need to pull in. But for native code, you don't need that. So this makes this process blazingly fast if you are creating modern application rather than these old dragged third-party libraries that will be slowing down your code. So this is how you can combine elements with CSS selector in both jQuery and vanilla JavaScript. And you have seen why the vanilla JavaScript is most preferred over jQuery.